Hello and welcome to the greatest Tamil science channel. I'm your host Vishakha, and we are in conversation with Dr. C.K. Nandagopalan. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Vishaka.
So, in our quest to understand ourselves better, today we start a beautiful topic, which is extremely relevant, and nobody can refute the significance of what we're going to speak. So, we're going to probe Dr. Nandagopalan regarding an important organ of the human body, that is the eye. Now, apart from the obvious anatomy of the eye and how it is important to, for our learning and for the body, the eye has a huge significance in other areas as well. So we start with a simple question of the anatomy of the eye. So if you can just explain us the how the eye functions in relation to the rest of the body.
The king of the sensory organ is eye, that you know, and mostly anatomy of the eye is known because you study in the schools. Okay? We have a pair of eye, two of them,
Right.
and it is somewhat round in shape with an opening at the back to the optic nerves, and the orbitary area is made out of white color. The one which is black in the center, which is the color of the iris inside, not the external one. The external part is made of cornea, the black area. Cornea is a transparent sheet. It has no blood supply there, otherwise it will become red. It's like a nail or a hair. So then how cornea survives with the supply of oxygen is because of the tear glands. That's why you keep winking your eye. You keep applying the wetness of the tear gland produced solution onto the cornea. From that wetness it absorbs oxygen. Unless it's transparent, the light can go in. The eyeball maintains its shape with a liquid filled inside, and it has a pressure for itself. It's a circulating liquid. This is called vitreous. This is a very fairly a simple affair, and the orbitary area around the eye is have to be kept clean, and the body has its own mechanism for it, and the oculomotor system, which is the fastest reflection in your body, the winking of the eye, is one of the most important stuff for your eye function. So it's keep lubricating the eye all the time in the world. This is fairly the anatomy of the eye, and eyeball is different in size with respect to human. For some people it is larger, for some people it is slightly smaller and whatnot. But nevertheless they do the same function. And you have the retina inside. If you take a tennis ball and cut it into exactly half, the internal part of the back half is full of retina, which gives you 180 degree of vision. Unlike the birds, they have 360 degree of vision. We have 180 degree of vision. That's called the field of vision. This is fairly the anatomy part of the eye. The retina gets connected to the optic nerves, which travels right through the brain to the back of your cortex. That is slightly about half an inch above the hair ends at the back, where two visual centers are there on the either side, on the curve of the neck, on the cortex. This is how the whole thing is placed. Okay.
So what is the connection of the eye with the human biochemistry?
Now, how exactly the vision functions, I'll tell it to you in a nutshell. So, yes, biochemistry is a big subject with respect to the ophthalmic function. So, it's like from the aspect of the human eye function only, a man's brain could manage to take the camera, to innovate a camera. in a camera, if you see the picture actually falls upside down. Okay, same thing
Right,
happens.
yeah.
Same thing happens in our eye also. So the light signals which passes through your cornea, the iris, the lens, and then travel through the vitreous liquid and fall on the retina. So retina is a very complex organ in the human body, very complex one. You have the photoreceptor cells out there. So these light signals falling on the retina, which is a screen, like how when the projector is on and the picture falls on the screen in a cinema theater or projectors at home, same thing is happening out there. So when these light signals come and fall on the retina, there is a chemical change happening there. There's a chemical transformation happening there. There's a chemical reaction happening there. These light signals are converted to electrical pulse by the rhodopsins of the retina, for which they use a substance which is nothing other than your vitamin A. That's why vitamin A is very important for your eye.
Right.
You got the point?
Yeah.
Vitamin A as a substance, as a component, which is used to turn the electrical signals, the light signals to electrical pulse.
Okay.
That travels through your optic nerve to the visual center. At one point it gets synchronized, that you see only one picture. It's an amazing mechanism devised by the nature. Both the eye sees different, but they get synchronized into one picture. And the upside down picture, you see it straight, which is the part of the visual center and the work of the optic nerves.
Okay.
Suppose in very young age of 2-3 years old, when the child cannot express things, if one eye is weak due to myopia, a power, the one eye tend to look more. The good eye will tend to look more. Slowly the mechanism inside start ignoring the other eye, which is not looking properly. That's called amblyopia. Then over a span of time, when it is not noticed by the parents, then the one eye which is weak becomes an amblyopic eye, the lazy eye, which cannot be revived back. So more so you will depend on function with one eye. So the biochemistry part of the vision is too huge. It's a very huge subject. I'll tell you what it is. When the time you get up in the morning and the time you go to sleep in the night, every second the eye is constantly functioning. It needs enormous energy for it.
Right.
Even if you take 1/100th of a second, the eye is continuously processing, converting the light signals to electrical pulse, and absolutely it's a continuous process on and on. If you take your best of the camera, it can work only till your battery can last,
Right.
maybe for 1 or 2 hours or 3 hours. Then you have to charge your battery. Then imagine the system inside, which has no electrical support from outside. This is 1. 2. Eye is an organ which has too many connections to your cognitive works. When you look at a person, your perception come into play. Sensation is different from perception, okay? When I look at you, looking at a human being, you is sensation. Recognizing you as Vishaka is perception.
Right. Got it.
So when I look at a good, when I go to a restaurant and sit, when they serve me a beautiful pizza on my plate, they come and serve me, mere looking at it, the picture of the food falling on the retina, the eye, and as a human being, I'm looking at the food.
Right.
huge chemical reaction already starts. You must be knowing that.
Yeah.
When you look at a good food served on the plate, your mouth starts watering. You have yet to touch it and put it in your mouth.
Right.
So what does that mean? That means the visual part of the food which is kept on the plate, which is come into your vision, starts all the process inside of the gastro, including the dental reaction.
Right.
You understand this?
Yeah, the salivary glands already start producing saliva.
I'll tell you one more example. Suppose you are very angry with the person who has done very deep harm to you in your life, and when you happen to see him somewhere in a public, the mere looking at him into your vision, your emotion come into play.
True. Yeah.
You get very angry. You hate him. You don't want to see him. You get angry, or you want to kill him. All that turbulence goes inside by looking at him. You see how your vision is connected to your brain?
Right.
Other than the functionality of what you are seeing, the vision connected to your brain, your perception is very huge, which plays exactly with emotions around. When you are very hungry, when you are sitting at home, if the food is not coming in time onto your table, you become very angry. Your eyes constantly looking around for people moving to bring your food. Or when you are very hungry, you go to a restaurant, if they take more than 10-15 minutes to serve your food, you are constantly looking around for the bearer or the steward to bring in your food. The eyes searching.
Right.
And that gives you more and more emotions, anxiety. The depression, the anxiety, the anger, the joy, the happiness, the anxious moments, everything is based on your visual perception. There is no end to explain the visionary part of the human being with respect to the biochemistry. It plays every second the role of your human perception. Over to you.
So that's beautifully explained. So now, coming to the problems that people have with the eye, myopia is probably the most common one, and even today, it's smaller and smaller kids. We see them having spectacles or some myopia correcting, surgery or something like that. It's become more common, and slowly, as the world shifts online more, it's even more common, and it's become a regular. It's like just part of our everyday life. It's nothing different to have myopia. Now, there are laser surgeries, sir, for correcting myopia. So can you throw some light on that? What is a laser surgery, how it's done, and what are the benefits of it?
Okay, when a child is born, um, it takes 9 years in your life for every human being for the entire visual system to fully grow and mature. First thing you have to know this. You can go and read this in the net. It takes 9 years for your entire visual system to grow. The one which comes to you finally at the 9th year is hand-eye and hand-leg coordination, which is very important for sports. To a 5-year-old boy, if you throw a ball, he will not be good enough, he will be clumsy to catch it because his hand-eye coordination has not set in as yet. Okay? So if myopia starts at that very early age before the 9, in most cases it becomes progressive myopia because the visual system is growing. Myopia is nothing other than the light falling short or falling away from your retina. The shape, it all depends on the shape of your eye. Okay? This much you can understand, right? You recorrect them with glasses, okay?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Now, way back in late 80s, there was a pioneering micro eye surgeon. His name is Fyodorov from Moscow, Russia. At that time, Soviet Union was there, USSR. He is the first person to come out with the laser correction of myopia. Then after 1989-90, when Soviet Union broke down, the Russian government, the democratic government, funded a lot of that. Fyodorov Institute, it's still there in Moscow. Then, after the opening up of Soviet Union, breaking down, and Russia was a separate country, the Fyodorov, the government has invested a lot of money on him, and he spread this all over the world. In India, he was associated with L.V. Prasad Institute of Hyderabad to start with. Then after mid-90s, laser correction of myopia has come all over the world. Every aspect of ophthalmic division of various countries have developed their own techniques and whatnot by laser recorrection of your cornea.
Right.
Okay. So what exactly is the crutches behind this laser recorrection is, there is evaluation in this. Not everybody is, every individual, every patient who is suffering from myopia cannot go through this laser correction. Normally they don't,
Okay.
on the commercial side of it, they do it on everybody in some of the institutes all over the world. There is evaluation on you. They study the contour of your cornea. First and foremost, age factor. Normally after the age of 35 or 40, they don't do laser correction, which is not correct.
Okay.
You have to do it well within that age. As young as 20s, teens, if you do, it's better. But the point here is, very sorry to say, that laser correction is not a foolproof system, because when you go through the laser correction and you get rid of your glasses, yes, it works. After some period of time, it reverses back in more than 95% of the cases.
Okay.
The side effect of this laser correction, sometimes if it is not good enough on you, your tear gland goes dry for a longer period of time. So you have to use external eye drop to keep your eyeball wet. Have you heard about this?
Actually, no, sir, I haven't. I thought it was, what I heard of it was a foolproof system to avoid spectacles.
Not at all. It is not so easy for the great scientists to play with the construction of a human body with respect to the nature which has designed it, which is dependent on external forces, not within the system.
Right.
There are huge amount of waves, external forces, cosmic waves, control every system in your body. Without understanding the relationship between the nature and the human body, we play around. So laser correction is not a foolproof system right from the time it started. It is only more of a commercial endeavor, where after some time, the correction helps you for a period of time, then it reverses back.
Okay.
Then you are forced to go back to your glasses. Thank you. Over to you.
Yeah, that was definitely eye-opening. I didn't have any idea about the laser correction, and I'm sure a lot of viewers as well will be surprised to know this. But thanks for the information. So going ahead, what are the other common disease that affect the eye, especially the vitreoretinal disease or disorders? And also, I would love if you could touch upon a little bit on cataract, which is again extremely common nowadays.
Yeah, cataract is a growth formation on your lens, and which affects the light signals passing through. It's collection of some protein.
Protein, right.
Yeah. When you wear contact lenses, permanent contact lenses, now disposables have come. When you wear permanent contact lenses those days, they get discolored because of the protein deposits, even though it is placed on top of your eye. So you can imagine the amount of protein works goes on inside the eye. So we have identified so far more than 150,000 different type of proteins in our body functioning. Proteins are nothing other than sequence of amino acids form a protein.
Right.
Okay.
Mm.
So these contact lenses get discolored. So once in a week you have to put it in a solution overnight, which releases the protein deposits and make it transparent again.
Mm.
So there is some kind of a protein collection which starts depositing on your lens, and when it becomes bigger and bigger, so we are forced to remove it. That's what is cataract.
Right. Yeah.
But then the vitreoretinal diseases are something totally different.
Mm.
So here the retina and the optic nerves come into play.
Mm.
For you to explain what is a retina is the most complex organ on the human body. They are less than 2 mm, the thinnest organ of the human body. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The retina is called, it's placed on the carpet of blood vessels. You have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of capillaries going all over the retina.
Mm.
The retina is made with rods and cones, photoreceptor cells.
Mm.
The retina is divided into two, macular region and periphery region. 60% of the central disc is called the macular region, where more of cone cells are there, which are responsible for your minute vision, for your color vision, for your daylight vision.
Right.
35 to 40% is periphery vision around it, which is more filled up with rod cells. They are very good for your night vision. They are very good for your black and white vision. They don't see colors.
They don't see color.
Most of the animals do not have cone cells, so they can see only black and white.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm.
Now when it comes to the question of vitreoretinal diseases, there are many of them. Most of it comes under the immune deficiency syndrome. Okay. The entire body functions with regeneration and degeneration of the human cells. Something same happens to the retina also.
Right. Yeah.
So when the regeneration does not happen, deterioration of retina starts. It's called retinitis pigmentosa.
Mm.
You have huge number of them, different varieties of them. You have typical retinitis pigmentosa, aretinitis pigmentosa, you have sign retinitis pigmentosa, you have macular degeneration, you have age-related macular degeneration, you have the Stargardt disease where pigments are not there. Retina has photoreceptor cells of rods and cones. Along with that, it has retinal epithelial cells, rhodopsins, and retinal pigmentary cells, and whatnot.
Mm.
So you have Usher's syndrome, where it is retinal degeneration take place along with hearing defect and mental retardation a little. You have Lawrence and Moon syndrome, many things. And after that you have optic neuritis, Leber optic atrophy, or destruction of the optic nerves, which are carrying signals which will affect your vision. Then you have a hemangioma and meningioma, extra growth on the orbit, which unwanted flesh growing or tumor growing, which goes and affect your optic nerves, which again damage your vision. For none of these huge number of diseases, of vitreoretinal diseases affecting your retina and the optic neuritis, you have no cure whatsoever till today. They have no clue, they have no idea how to get that damage repaired.
Back. Mm.
It's beyond impossible to the human brain so far. These are your vitreoretinal diseases. None of it can be corrected. You have diabetic retinopathy. You have retinal detachment. When the retinal detachment happens, they can lift it up with a laser and seal it back. When diabetic retinopathy comes, capillaries burst.
Yeah.
They arrest the bleeding there. But the vision damaged, say suppose you suffer from glaucoma and you ignore it, and the pressure of the eye increases, which is going to press the retina, which is going to damage the retina.
Mm.
Whatever damage has happened to the retina cannot be revived back.
Mm. Okay.
We have no chemistry, we have no mechanism, we are yet to understand why it's happening. So no cure.
Mm.
So far no cure. This is what your vitreoretinal diseases are concerned. And most of it, they do not know about it. Common people, they do not know about it. Those who study ophthalmology, they know about it.
Mm.
Thank you.
So what is the best way that we can take care of our eyes from a childhood, considering lifestyles the way they are today, with a lot of it being online? What's the best way to take care of one's eyes?
Eye is a very sensitive organ, okay? So there is nothing much that you can do with respect to the nature's functioning of eye. But how to take care of the eye? How to take care of the eye is, there are a lot of pharmacology medicines. If you take steroids, for various reasons, if we are forced to take steroids to, comfort ourselves with some greater problems, cataract tend to form very early.
Right.
Okay, all those things are there. So the best way to take care of the eye is to, make sure you don't touch your eye with your fingers all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Use a clean cloth to wipe your eye in case if you don't have access to water. And another best way to, maintain your eye is to wash your eye. When you wash your face with good quality water, wash your eyes at least 3 times a day, morning, afternoon and evening. Definitely before going to sleep. This is one. And don't look at the sun directly.
Right.
Yeah, because retina is designed to take certain amount of intensity of light, not too much. They can burn your retina.
Mm-hmm.
You see, when you go to snowy areas like Himalayas, Alps and all that, they wear those big goggles.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's so wide, the reflection of the sunlight is so huge, the retina cannot take. It can burn down your retina and you go blind.
Right. Yeah.
And the best material to keep your eye very healthy is called munir. When you make curd out of good cow milk, it should be good cow milk. You must be very sure that it's a cow milk. And when you turn them into curd, the next day you see there will be some amount of water there.
Right. Yeah.
That is called munir. You can put 2 drops on your eye every day. That's one of the most brilliant way to maintain your eye with respect to external pollutions and other things. But that's not going to help you your vitreoretinal problems.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
So what about the foods that are, since you did mention the importance of vitamin A in converting the light signals into electrical signals for the brain, are foods that are rich in vitamin A like carrots, or broccoli, I think broccoli as well. Do eating these really help? Does eating fish help the eyes?
See, vitamin A is not directly available in your food. It's beta carotene.
Right.
Beta carotene, when it goes in, the liver converts it into vitamin A. Vitamin A is normally stored by the human liver and it keeps releasing it in the blood for your
Right.
functioning of the eye. So the food normally which you take, it has enough beta carotene. That's more than enough. You don't need to go and do extra food for your eye and all that stuff. No need.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not needed at all.
So it's not really necessary to.
Your body is so brilliant without you knowing about it. They know how to make vitamin A available in the body.
Right.
You have not studied this body in full. You will never run down of vitamin A. Never.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You will get your vitamin A. Body knows how to source vitamin A. Body knows how to process vitamin A. Body knows how to keep vitamin A in the blood.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing you can do about it. More so it's so commercial. Excess of vitamin A also will harm you. You know that? By taking too much of supplements.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna have one more program on the eye and focus a lot more not just on the health of the eye, but this time on the significance of the eye in terms of spirituality, in terms of psychology. And there's a huge depth of knowledge that I am very eager to hear from Dr. Nandagopalan. So we'll see you next time on the same program. Thank you.